Alive People, episode 9. So, what did the number 9 say to the number 6? Stop staring at me. I'm not upside down. You are. This episode is part of a bigger project where I'll be interviewing Fil-Am small business owners, sharing their journeys in both podcast and book form. The goal is to provide insight, inspiration, all that good stuff for those wanting to get in the game. We need more successful small biz owners that can build an enterprise, be the next billionaires, to uplift our community and create alternative life paths for the next generation. Now, look, I went to business school. Sure, it got shut down, but that's another story. But there, they never taught us about the perspective of, being a minority, model minority, cancel culture, dealing with all the things that our community deals with as small business owners. How to deal with family that thinks this is too risky or, breaking away from the normal, safer career paths. I'm looking for diverse entrepreneurs to feature. Let me know in the comments who I should reach out to, who's building something special or who has a dope story that needs to be told. So in this episode, I speak to Gina Rabanal, the founder of MeMakes, who started her small business in 2020 after discovering how to make stickers on TikTok and building a successful business on eBay. She discusses the challenges of balancing a 9-to-5 with her creative pursuits and emphasizes the importance of structure and organization. I first met Gina and her partner a few years ago doing pop-ups here in the Bay Area, San Francisco. I always wanted to get to know them at a deeper level. When I go to these events, basically, I go early so I can talk to folks, and they were always the ones that I talked to. I noticed that they had this dope, complicated setup, and I was interested in that. So here's the interview with Gina. Enjoy.
My name is Gina Rabanal, and I was actually born in the Philippines. I came here when I was 5 years old, and my family immigrated to Salinas, California, which is in Monterey Bay. And so most of my childhood that I remember is in Salinas, and then I went to college in San Jose State, majored in child development, and I pursued in special education. So I did special education teaching for a couple of years, and now I'm in the ABA, so Applied Behavior Analysis field. And so that's what I'm currently doing. That's my current 9-to-5. And I started MeMakes, which is my small business, back in 2020. And I think I just remember it being like an accident. I kind of was just swiping on TikTok, and I learned how to I wanted to learn how to make stickers. And so I was like, okay, let me make stickers. Let me look up or search how to make stickers. And so I got myself a Cricut, and this was during the pandemic. This was just out of boredom. And then I was like, what should I make stickers out of? And I just started doing some research. It's like, oh, let me make a sticker out of a Filipino sticker, just because I'm Filipino. And so I was like, oh, let's make a Sambaquita sticker. And so I made a Sambaquita sticker, and that was kind of my first sticker that I created, and kind of, I guess, stemmed from there, started my small business.
Where did you first sell your stickers?
On Etsy.
Got it. Okay. Do you remember the feeling when you first sold your first one? Did you have doubts? Is anyone going to buy this?
Yeah. I was doing TikTok videos, oh, I'm going to make a sticker. And then I learned that people were selling things online during the pandemic. I was like, oh, let me do that and let's see how it works. It was a simple sticker too. And I drew it out, and then I sold maybe several stickers the first month, but the first couple of weeks I was like, okay, maybe it's not, maybe it's just for fun, maybe it's not gonna happen. And then my first sticker was kind of okay, maybe if I continue doing this, then it'll grow. So that's kind of I felt okay because I wasn't like, you know, well, obviously I was like wishing, like, oh, I hope someone buys the sticker and see that.
So how would you describe your shop to people?
I would describe it as more like a lot of the products I would say like Filipino inspired, more of like my experiences growing up in the 90s, and like I did a lot of research in terms of like to be honest, like I didn't know like the basic simple, like I learned that Sampaguita was actually the Filipino national flower during that time. Like it was like the simple facts were something like from what I'm getting out of this business, like just learning about the Filipino culture in general. So I would say that's kind of how I would describe it. My experiences as a Filipino American, or like just a Filipino growing up in America.
Okay. What's the most challenging aspect of being a small business owner? How do you overcome that?
I think it helps, or I guess time, because I do have a 9 to 5, and then I like the creative aspect of like my small business. Like it just keeps me going in terms of like not being bored, like be more active. And so having that time to really invest in it is pretty challenging, just because now my weekends are booked doing market pop-ups, and I like meet with my partner and talk about, oh, how can we continue, how can we build the business in general. So yeah, it is part of my life, where it's also another full-time job. So that balancing that is a little challenging, but I feel motivated and continuing to do it. It's been very fulfilling, I would say.
Okay. What's a daily habit or routine that's been crucial to your success as a small business owner?
I think setting like having a structure, like after work, I go for a walk. I like to go for like a 30-minute walk after I get off job after my morning job, and then I come home and I check emails, look at social media and see, upcoming events. So I think every day is different, looks different, but every day is kind of structured. So that structure really helps me like stay organized.
Got it. Tell me a story about a failure. Like what led to it? What did you learn about it?
There's a lot of failures. I think I remember one time we ordered we decide we the in the beginning process of like deciding whether we make our apparels ourselves versus having a outside supplier do it for us was like a big, I guess, a challenge, because obviously time needed to be done. So there was one time where we ordered a box of shirts, and then we decided, okay, we're going to do it ourselves, but the sheets, or the laminating sheets, weren't. It was just like we wasted a lot of money on buying products on ourselves, and so that's kind of, we pivoted into like, okay, we'll just do outside. We'll just test out, we'll just invest in like outside supplier in the meantime. So that was kind of like a trial and error, and seeing what worked and what did not. So yeah, I guess
Okay.
sometimes a failure, can lead to a success. So
Yep. Okay. Who's been your most influential mentor or role model? And how did that person or people help you in business?
in business,
Yeah, anything. I mean, but just in general, a role model
a role model.
or mentor or someone that gave you like a good advice about things.
I would. I think. I think maybe my partner. I think he helped a lot, because I feel like we're kind of opposite, and I'm like more of a laid back, chill, and he's like a type A. And so he made sure like everything has to be he has like a whole like PowerPoint, like like graphed all the financial aspect of it. And I don't think he's not like he didn't major in like business or anything, but he's like so fixated on like certain things has to go a certain way. And so, and I'm kind of like chill, laid back. And so it kind of helps balance the business. And so I think I'm inspired by him by just in general, just like how he is as a person. So I would say he helped a lot with, and I don't think my small business would be where it is now without him, like a good partner.
Definitely. Good to have. Good.
Definitely. Someone good on this.
Okay. So then I guess is that part like how do you then balance and take care of yourself, because you mentioned one of the challenges is time. And so what do you do for self-care?
That's still something I'm still trying to like figure it out too. Like what really helps. I mean, I spend a lot of time by myself, and then I go for walks, but there's I mean, I read, that helps me calm down, but I think in general I've always just been a very calm person, and so nothing really like when I'm stressed you can't tell, and so it's just I'm still like trying to figure out what really works for me and how like that balance of like self-care and also working hard. I'm still in the process of like figuring it out.
Got it. Okay. So let's talk about advice. If you
Mhm.
had to give advice to your younger self, around entrepreneurship, identity, courage, or anything like that, what would you tell your younger self?
Just be honest with yourself. I think sometimes it's like there's always like that shameful of like, oh, maybe I can't do it because of what other people will think. And so yeah, just be honest and to know that everything will be okay and then.
Got it. Okay. Was there a moment when you realized that this business was, I guess, bigger than just selling stickers? That uh, I notice a lot of your stuff has to do with a lot of like Pinay empowerment, things like
Mhm.
that. Oh, yeah. When did you kind of realize that moment that it was bigger than a business?
I think I think when sometimes I get like personal messages from like customers and like how they're like, oh, I've never seen stickers like this, like that represents me. And so like every moment like that is always kind of like, oh wow, I'm doing something not just for myself but also for others. So at every moment is counts for me. So and
Got it.
there's been a lot. So I feel yeah,
Nice.
appreciative of that.
Has there been a book, a movie, a podcast, or anything like that that's kind of influenced you?
I I did I I think it was a couple years ago I started listening to Filipino on the Rise, and that kind of I think one of her very first episode was kind of still in the back of my head about who is it? Jelaine some Jelaine from Cambio. Um
Oh yeah, the jewelry.
Yeah,
Yeah, from
yeah. She
Canada.
was like one of the
Yes.
first guests that I listened to in that podcast, and she kind of had like a similar upbringing of like, oh yeah, I was born in the Philippines, I grew up in Canada or something, and like discovering yourself being like in between that. Like I wasn't born in America, so like when I came here, I was young and I probably had an accent, and like the kids made fun of me or right, and so that kind of like still I think about that time where I was like, oh, I think about the kids I work with too. Even there's like immigrants who came from a different country, and like that experience is not everyone has that experience. And so when I listened to that podcast, it kind of brought me back to how I was coming to America at a young age, and like um trying to navigate that I guess, adjust into that new environment, even though I was still young and I could still like thrive in a new setting. So that was kind of something that was inspiring to listen to, because I felt like, okay, so, I'm not alone in that experience.
Nice. Okay. What's I guess an unorthodox skill that you have, you think that helps you with your business?
I think I don't like, I'm pretty calm under stress. And so like when something like goes really bad, or like my whole sticker board falls, I'm like, okay, we'll just pick it up and like not stress about it. Because even though it's like a big thing, I was like, oh, it's gonna stop us from like making sales at the moment, or like it was like, okay, we'll just. So I think my reaction to like big things is like, it doesn't get to me right away. It's like maybe like later, like hours or days later. But like, yeah, I think that's kind of like I don't know if that's a good or bad like trait, but I think at the moment when everyone else is stressed, I'm like calm.
Nice. That's good to have. You need that now, especially. Okay. What type of music gets you hyped up? What are you listening to?
I'm a pop girly. I like everything pop. I mean, I like any music in any genres, but I listen to like pop songs and like in general. So
Do you watch the Grammys?
I watched like a glimpse of it, but like just through social media.
Yeah.
So
Nice. Okay. And then so the last question, which is a very basic but hard question. What's your favorite Filipino food?
oh, that's hard. That is really hard. Do you mean like dessert or
Just whatever. Like, let's say you have to just pick one.
one? The like I always ask, like every time I go to film, if they have buko pandan.
Nice.
That's always like my go-to. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Cool. Well, thank you. Thank you. Anything that you wanted to say, shout out anyone, anything else?
No, I think what you're inspiring yourself. So
Oh, yeah.
you're doing this and like trying to get everyone together, and I'm looking forward to what this will be. So it's
Yeah.
exciting.
All right. Well, where can people visit you? Websites and any upcoming events?
Website would be memakes.com or Etsy, and our next event is we're doing the Philippine Fest in Vegas. So
that's around Valentine's, right?
next weekend.
That's right. Okay, cool. Well, good luck there. Say hi to everybody. Hopefully it's not too hot
Or cold.
or cold. That's
Winter right now.
Winter. That's right.